bounce back effort?
I think the biggest thing is I like their effort and energy and their, the physicality, but really the energy to the ball, effort to the ball. I mean, when you look at some of the screens and space plays they tried to run, and when you watch them on tape, you saw guys running to the ball. And, I think that's a testament of their character, work ethic, and we always talk about competitive toughness. I think that's all played into that, and that's probably the biggest thing I was pleased with. And then we went out and we exexecuted and did what we needed to do.
When you look at tape of Missouri, why do you think they're so much better at home than on the road? There's a big difference there, it looks like.
Well, I mean, I really can't say from a standpoint of why. I mean, but they've obviously are talented and have won some games at home to understand that we need to bring our A game and we need to be able to play. I mean, when you look at them, their offensive line, 3 of the 5 guys we played last year, the running backs are good players. I think they got one of the best tight ends in the league for what he can do, and they got some skill outside. So we understand that they're talented and that we're going to have to play. And it's really about us playing to our identity and our ability and our standards. So that's really what we're concerned about.
Mamoun Diabate had such a great game, 3 sacks in the limited snaps. How proud of you are of what you've seen from him and the progress he's done in a short amount of time?
Yeah, I think I was asked probably a couple weeks ago about him, and I talked about his acceleration burst and speed and athletic ability, and said as he develops and continues to get stronger, he's going to be a really good player. I think that kind of showed up in the game in the sense of he has the tools to have explosive type plays, impact kind of plays. And, I'm just proud of the way the guys worked and competed and has really stepped in the fire. I mean, like his first really meaningful snaps came, in the Georgia game. And then he came in and really played well. And this week he prepared as a starter and executed and did what he's supposed to do and was productive and, helped us really dominate a team.
Dan mentioned he only had 19 plays. In your experience, is it hard for a freshman to kind of lock in and stay focused when they're only getting limited reps?
Not really. I mean, that's everybody. You should just be worried about the plays you're in there. I mean, that's really an irrelevant deal from the standpoint of when your time's up, you go play. And in my opinion, it kind of helps you in the sense of here's your role, here's the things you're doing. That's what I'm going to play. I mean, it's pretty difficult to ask the guy to go play 45, 50 plays and play at his best. So I think to get guys to play at their optimal level, you kind of put them in roles to let them be successful, and that's what we did with him.
Looking back at last year's game, was there a little bit of an emotional letdown coming off of Georgia's loss?
I don't know. They beat us pretty good, so, we just understand that they beat us. And, that was last year. We're more focused on this year and playing this year and really trying to be the best we can be and play to our standard, and that's what we'll work on.
How different is this team with Kelly Bryant?
Yeah, I mean, I think when he's in there, you've got a guy that can extend plays. He brings athletic ability to the quarterback position. I'm sure he has some leadership qualities to him that allows other guys around him to play. So, we're aware of that, and they still run the same plays, really, regardless of who's playing, the quarterback position. I think that the biggest thing with him is you're looking at a physical guy that has a physical stature to him at that position, that it can extend plays and get some positive yards out of him.
What do you like about the way Barry Odom calls defense?
We've had him in some crossover games, and I think he's aggressive. I think they do a really good job of being stout, setting the edge in the run game, and building walls inside. And then, they play tight coverage, which forces quarterbacks to be accurate. So I think they do a really good job with their personnel and what they're doing.
Because they lost 27-0, but the defense was on the field forever.
Yeah, I mean,
kind of played pretty well despite.
Yeah, I didn't watch them, but I know I've watched them in crossover games.
Okay.
And I think they play really good, and they do some good stuff. And they're, like I said, they do a good job of setting the edge of the defense, so it's hard to run outside. They build walls inside, and they got some size inside, and they got some guys that can cover, and they play tight coverage, which forces quarterbacks to be accurate with the ball. So I think, they do things that philosophically I think you need to do to be good on defense.
Got more action for Elam on the outside against Vanderbilt. Has thrown his way. I think he battered it down too. What sort of impressed you as far as him in coverage this year?
Yeah, Elam's a guy that he has really good poise for a freshman. doesn't panic, can play the ball when it's in the air. He's talented, he's smart. He has the skill set you're looking for to play outside at corner. And I think he's a guy that'll continue to get better. You know, we played a lot of young guys in the game. I think at the end of the day, we actually played 5 true freshmen, you know, in a rotation there, you know, in the first half. And he was one of those guys. And, you know, he's a talented guy outside that has instincts. He doesn't panic when the ball's in the air. He's got ball skills, so he's going to, you know, he's going to get his hands on balls and make plays. And he's a willing tackler and brings a presence that way. So I think that he's got a really bright future, and we'll continue to play him and develop him.
You know, Jabari came back this year, and it hasn't gone, I'm sure, as he hoped. What's been how have you kind of kept him engaged? I mean, the guy's played like 14 quarters all year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that number one, this is something that's temporary from the standpoint as he's not ready to play. Like, he's going to be fine in time. He's a guy that's worked hard to get back, and you know, there's 1 or 2 games that maybe he could have played. For example, the Auburn game, and I felt like with the guys that had practiced the way we were going to play the game, we would be fine, and tried to rest him for the next game from that standpoint. So for him, it's just a matter of being patient, you know, continue rehab, continue treatment, and when you're ready to play, we'll put you out there and let you be a part of our defense and be productive. But until then, you know, get yourself healthy.
I know you talk about next man up, but do you gotta hate saying that for a guy who came back, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think now for him, I think it's it's probably frustrating in a sense that he put a lot of work into having a productive year this year. It didn't really pan out, but that's not going to affect him moving forward because he's already put on tape the kind of player he is and that kind of thing. I think this is more just a testament of his wanting to be a Gator, wanting to play on our defense, and you know, wanting to have a good year and help us win. And I think those are the things that probably are more disappointing to him than anything. And you know, when he's ready, you know he'll get ready to play this week, and then he'll have a bye week, and then can play the Florida State game, and then see what happens after that. So you know, been pleased with the way he's approached it, and he's still been a good teammate from the standpoint of working with some of the younger guys like Zach Carter and TJ and being there for those guys. So I think, you know, that part of it helps. It doesn't show up sometimes to, you know, the media and things, but, you know, he's obviously a guy that would make a lot of impactful plays if he was playing.
Missouri has a pretty dynamic tight end. I think he had a touchdown here last year. How do you game plan against him? How do you find guys that match up well with him?
Yeah, I mean, you know, like anytime you have an athletic tight end like that, the linebacker matchups are something you always look to address. I felt like we played a pretty good tight end last week, you know, and we played some good tight ends before, so it really gets down to, you know, understanding where your help is, understanding leverages, and just understanding the situations that come up as far as, you know, formations can kind of tell you a little bit about what they're doing. Down and distance can tell you a little bit. And then from there, just understanding your ability relative to who you're playing and how I got to play the guy. For example, like a safety may play him a little bit different than a linebacker. And, you know, those guys will play that relative to who they are.
Do they do any motion to kind of maybe get you out of what they're doing in terms of covering
they'll
him?
move. I mean, they'll move him around. I mean, when they move him around, you have your adjustments that you can either take it, you can spin it, I mean, you can push it. I mean, so we'll have all of that, and we'll kind of adjust relative to the situation we're in on defense.
Was Brad able to practice today? Dan said they thought he'd be able to.
Yeah, so Brad's a guy that is going to probably be ready to play.
From a recruiting standpoint, when you do something like play 5 true freshmen in rotation, what does that say to high school seniors who, like you guys, are recruiting?
Well, I think that, number one, it shows you that if you come here, you're going to play early. I mean, if you go back and look, we've played quite a few freshmen this year. The other thing is you're going to get developed when you come here. And the combination of being able to play early and get developed at this level, I think, is probably second to none.